Hello, my name is David and welcome to David's Amateur Rocket Program. Before we start, I would like to apologize. This video was supposedly coming out a year ago. Unfortunately, a lot of life stuff occurred within a span of 1 year, the global pandemic being one of those life stuff. It should never take a year to complete testing, and I assure you that this will never, likely ever, happen again. Moving on. For those who don't follow me on Instagram, link is down in the description by the way. I am an 18-year-old who basically wanted to start a rocket company. I spent the last 6.5 months working on a rocket project called Nova. This vehicle has been designed in order to test out things such as vertical stability, sensor integration, etc., etc., etc. But the thing that usually isn't discussed as frequently as Nova is the numerous trials and errors that went into creating its launch pad. Hence why, today we will be discussing the changed variants of the Nova vehicle, as well as the launch pad and its numerous design challenges. The first variant of the Nova project was the Nova Alpha, by far the prime variant, complemented with a complete TVC system, landing legs, a motor ejection system, and counter-slanting fins which would, in theory, allow for stability while descending and accelerating in the negative direction. I had previously designed landing legs that would act like fins on ascent. However, I decided to go in the direction of larger landing legs made of polylactic acid, or PLA. This lines with a trend that I've been doing for a while, which contributed to a lot of time and cash wasted. I will speak on the matter later on. The vehicle consisted of two 78mm by 18-inch white body tube and used an F-18-8 rocket motor. Remember that for later. For landing, the rocket would utilize a clay impingement plug which would limit the net thrust of the motor by sort of getting in the way of the rocket's plume. The launch pad basically consisted of 4 wooden boards, 2 for side supports with a slanted board in the middle and 1 more board on top providing a place for the rocket to stand up on. The clamps used were servo actuated. Additionally, the middle board was sprayed with a heat-resistant paint. The proto board used consisted of the MPU 6050, a gyroscope and accelerometer, and the BMP 180 barometric pressure sensor. A more in-depth video of the proto board and the Nova project in general will be made in the future. Alpha also had an ejection system, and with that it basically completed all of the requirements to warrant a full-fledged static fire test.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Yeah. So... These are the F-15-8. The one with the ejection charge. Yeah, hi, future David. It is imperative that you read the labels of rocket engines as well as the description of said rocket. Moving on. Since I didn't take this into account, a hot glue plug, which was used as a barrier to prevent the hot exhaust from flying into the rocket, completely blew through the bottom of the PCB, destroying one fin and shuttling the upper half of the vehicle into the air while simultaneously shooting the motor through the clip that I used to hold it in and the bottom half of the launch pad. In 3 seconds, I had not only lost the top half of the vehicle, but the launch pad and the protoboard as well. Yeah. The next vehicle update were many adjustments like ways to fix the landing legs. They broke, fixing the thrust vectoring mount and printing more fins. This is about the time where I realized that I have been trying to copy other YouTubers/Rocketeers concepts whether or not they were compatible with my design. For example, I had a fully cooperating landing leg concept which only needed a slight tweak for them to be operational. That's the fin landing legs. Instead, I chose the option of using larger SpaceX landing legs. Then, rather than making these legs out of foam board, which was the preferred, easier, and cheaper plan, I instead chose to print out smaller PLA landing legs. At the time, my printer, the Ender 3, couldn't really print large prints across the X and Z axis. Another example was the TVC system, where I had previously created a working thrust vectoring control system, but chose to imitate someone else's vehicle design that wasn't compatible with my own vehicle design. Understandably, it took so much more time. After changing that up, I was able to make a second full variant called the Nova Shadow Hawk. The launch pad consisted of 4 vent holes that were placed around the rocket with a metallic bowl underneath. The same launch clamps used from test number 1 were used on test number 2. The only thing left was to actually test out both components.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, what went wrong? First, looking at the launch clamps, it's obvious that the close proximity of the rocket motor and the small vent holes prevented the heat of the exhaust from dissipating. Second, the metallic bowl that I used apparently broke, possibly due to the immense heat, which led to a chain reaction, inevitably burning a hole at the bottom of the bowl. Again, this destroyed the new pair of fins I printed out after the previous test. So I scrapped the whole design, decided to go for a bigger, much stronger launch pad. This time I didn't put any PLA near the rocket, instead using clamps on arms to hold the rocket in place. I then bought black steel piping to use as the vents. I printed rocket holders used to prevent the vehicle from flailing around. I put an entire launch pad on a table for easier access. I bought some soda and drank it in anticipation for the next test. This time, this would not fail.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
A complete success on all ends. Though some people may see this as mediocre or not worth the celebration, to me, however, it's just one more step closer to becoming a full-fledged aerospace company. And that's it! Thanks for staying and watching this evolution. The next plan is to create a large flight vehicle called Nova X Viper. This vehicle, I know, it's so edgy. This vehicle will be made with 2 objectives in mind, flight and some VTOL testing. It will be made with my accommodations in mind, fin landing legs, etc., etc., etc. The second vehicle I will make, name currently unknown, will be tailor-made for vertical landing. I can't tell you too much, but I can say that when complete, I will be selling this to amateur rocketeers, or to anyone who wants something that can fly, take off, and land. If you'd like to see the progression of these vehicles, and or would like to support my projects, my Patreon is down below. While you're there, follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to see more information about future projects. My name is David from David's Amateur Rocket Program. Thanks for watching.